Good evening, Church House. This is Daniel Hornsby tuning in with you from Blessed Church House Musical Ministry. And I just want to talk to you about a testimony that I heard and want to share with you all about. You know, fine and dandy is like a piece of candy, is what I called this sermon today. And the reason I did is because, pray for the sick. A lot of people don't think that prayer makes a difference, but prayer does make a difference. Like Jesus said. He said, by my stripes, he said, you are healed. And faith with the size of the grain of mustard seed, and you should cast out mountains, and break chains, and all things are possible with those who have faith, and it says with faith without works is dead, and that means you got to have faith that you will get better, and then you got to put some works behind it to get better, like try to get better, and a perfect example of this is a good testimony I got from R.W. Scheinbach, and which I really love this testimony. It's one of my favorite. And he had a woman that he was trying to get to go and take a prayer cloth to her sister, which was in a mental institution, and she was in there for like several years. It was like 20 or 30 years she's in a mental institution or something like that. And nonetheless, it was almost all of her life she was in this mental institution. And he kept telling her sister, he said, I want you to take this prayer cloth in there and give it to your sister so she can get better. And the woman said, nah, she ain't going to take no prayer cloth. She don't want no prayer cloth. And she said, I'm not going to take her no prayer cloth. And he just kept on asking her, and she kept refusing. He said, I figure if they can take a prayer cloth and send a blessing in there and a healing through a prayer cloth, he said, I could send a healing through a piece of candy. He said, I had a piece of candy. He said, I had it in my pocket all day long, as I was up there preaching. He was up there preaching. And he said he was preaching, and he said he was praying about that candy the whole time. And he's sitting there as he was preaching, he was talking, and he was thinking about that candy. And he said he was just praying in his mind about that candy too. And he said, Lord, he said, if I can send a healing through a prayer cloth, he said, I want you to send a healing through this piece of candy. And nonetheless, the sister come back around, and he said, here, I want you to take this piece of candy to your sister. And she took that piece of candy, and nonetheless, she took the piece of candy to him, even though she wouldn't take the prayer cloth. And when she took the piece of candy to her sister, and about 6-7 months down the road, he said he was at another sermon, and next thing you know, he was preaching at another town, and he said he heard somebody yell out in the crowd. He said, hey, you. He said, you remember me? It was a woman yelling out. And he said, no, I don't know you. He said, I don't know you. And she said, yeah, you do. She said, I'm the one that was in the mental institution. He said that. And she said, I'm completely healed, and look at my mind now.